believe me if I told you that you're a superhero? Well, not the kind that wears a cape or flies around the sky, but you're still one. And your power comes from the very thing you believe is holding you back. It is your personality, the way you think, the way you feel, and all those parts of yourself that you've been trying to fix or hide for so long, those are exactly what make you powerful. So yeah, you've had a superpower all along, and maybe you just haven't learned how to use it yet. But today we're changing that. First of all, I want you to start and think about your superpower, which is your personality. Think about all the stuff that people might have told you, you're too much of that or not enough. And you might have even said that yourself. For example, you're too emotional. You're too quiet. You overthink everything. I'm too stubborn. I'm too heartless. Haven't you ever heard that? Because I know I have. And over time, we start to believe that our personality is something we need to fix as if we're broken. But in reality, your personality is made of powerful traits. And the real problem is that we either don't know how to use them or we don't even know about them. Therefore, you have two choices today. You can either walk out of that door the same way you came in and keep seeing your flaws as weaknesses, or you can walk out as a completely different person, as someone who has finally unlocked their full potential. Let me take you back a few years. I always used to feel as if something about me was wrong just because I didn't feel like everyone else. I wasn't the loudest in the room. I didn't speak first. But whenever I did speak, I'd spend hours and hours afterwards replaying the conversation in my head and asking myself, did I say something wrong? Or do they think I'm weird? And do you know what was the question that always kept on running around? Do they really want to be friends with someone like me? And meanwhile, the people around me, they seemed so confident. They never hesitated. They just spoke. So this made me wonder, why can't I be more like them? Of course, as every teenager, I wanted to fit in. So I forced myself to be more outgoing, to be more energetic, to start saying stuff, whether it's really what I want or not, just to say something. Even if it didn't make sense, I didn't care. I wanted to say something. I wanted to become a version I thought everyone else wanted. So of course, once I did that, I would have thought that, okay, everything will get better. But that was completely the opposite for me. Because once I did that, everyone around me started to distance themselves from me. And why was that? They didn't want to be friends with someone who didn't even know himself. If I didn't like myself, how would they appreciate me? My quietness wasn't a weakness. It made me a better listener. And trust me, whenever I say that, whenever someone wants to open up to someone, they go to me, and I love listening to them. My deep thinking, it wasn't a flaw. It just made my words carry meaning. And my overthinking, yeah, that wasn't a curse. It just made me present, or it meant that I cared. So yeah, I finally realized after years that I didn't need to be louder to be heard. I just needed to stop running away from who I really was, because the problem at the beginning was just myself, because I kept on comparing myself to others. Now let's talk about you. Maybe you're an overthinker. You worry about the smallest details. You second-guess every decision. That does sound like a weakness, no? Well, maybe, but only at first. Because now really think about it. Overthinkers make amazing planners. Yes, of course, they may stress over the smallest stuff, but that is exactly what makes them incredibly reliable, thoughtful, and careful. Or maybe you're a shy person in a room full of loud voices, and you've been told directly or indirectly that you need to speak up more or come out of your shell. But why do we think that being loud is better than being quiet? Quiet people are incredible listeners. They understand people on a deeper level, not just because they talk a lot, but because they notice things. And here's the thing. I have no idea who decided what's too much or what's not enough. I don't know who set these invisible rules about how we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to act, but somewhere along the way, we humans got used to putting people into boxes. We hear one trait, we label it instantly. Too emotional, too quiet, too intense. And the worst thing is that we carry those labels around as if they're facts, and we start believing them, and we start trying to change ourselves in order to fit into these boxes. But let's settle something. You were never meant to change yourself in order to fit into a box. No. You change the box. Because there's millions and millions of boxes out there, but only one true version of you. And do you really want to lose that? Psychologists have something called the strength-based approach. It is very simple, but very powerful. This means that instead of focusing on what is wrong with us and trying to fix it, we actually learn how to use it. Because people who lean into their personal strength daily are more confident, more productive, and happier overall. And I think we all want that. And one study has proved that people who use their natural traits experience higher well-being and are happier again. So the next time, instead of asking yourself, how do I fix this? Say, how do I use this? Now let's look at few people who took the very things we all see as flaws, turned them into their assets to change the world. First of all, we have this extraordinary scientist, Albert Einstein. Well, you wouldn't believe me if I told you that Einstein used to be called slow by his teachers. He didn't speak fluently until he was around 9 years old, so people thought he wasn't smart. But his mind worked differently. He questioned everything. And do you think that without this overthinking that took his imagination to places no one was able to get to, would we be understanding the universe the way we do today? So now I wish to be called slow by teachers. Another example is Greta Thunberg, who was just 15 years old when she started skipping school to protest for climate action. Her deep sensitivity, something most of us see as a weakness, this has made her feel the planet's pain. One emotion, one teenager, shake the world. And finally, we have Michael Jordan, who is now a basketball legend. Well, Jordan was once cut out from his high school team. Most people would have given up, but his response, he trained harder and harder. His stubbornness, something we call as too intense, has made him one of the greatest athletes in history today. So, what do they all have in common? They didn't wait until they were older or more ready. They didn't let the world tell them who to be and how to be. They stopped apologizing for their traits and started using them. And that is the truth. It is never too late or too early to start becoming who you are, whether you're 15 or 50 or a bit older. You have everything you need. Inside this box is one of the most important ingredients, if not the most, that you need to succeed. And it is very powerful. So, it is you. And I will keep on saying it. You are your own superpower. You just have to see yourself differently. Because now, I don't know about you, but all I can see through this mirror is just amazing superheroes who have everything they need to succeed. So here's my final challenge for you. Stop apologizing for your traits, your flaws, your weaknesses. Stop wishing you could be someone else because the world doesn't need more copies, it already has enough. Never forget that you are already too powerful. Now go out there and use that power. Thank you.